Kidding. Okay, sorry. Today is Tuesday, June 9th, 2026, and the time is 5:31 p.m. We are here for the Crime Control and Prevention District regular session meeting of the City of Coppell, and there's a quorum present, so I will call the meeting to order. Citizens' appearance. I'm just going to go down this nice little sheet here. Persons wishing to speak must sign the register and list their address. Presentations by individuals shall be limited to 3 minutes each. Persons signed up to speak will be called in the order that they signed up. No personal attacks by any speaker shall be made against any member of council or the mayor. He's not here. You're welcome to say. I'm joking. Individual, group, or corporation. There will be no comments or deliberation from the City Council due to the Texas Open Meeting Act. Okay, item 3. Consider approval of minutes for June 3rd, 2025. I will entertain a motion and a second. I have a motion from Jim Walker. Oh, that's your. And a second from Kevin Nevels. All in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Hill, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Okay. I now will turn it over to Ms. Jessica Almendares.
Okay. Well, good evening, members of the CCPD board. And my name is Jessica Almendares, and I'm a budget manager in strategic financial engagement. And thank you for the opportunity to present to you the fiscal year 27 proposed budget for the Crime Control and Prevention District. The CCPD is a special purpose district. And let me advance the slide. Designed to support community-focused crime prevention efforts. The district is funded by a quarter-cent sales tax, and all revenues must be used exclusively for crime prevention programs and services. The Crime Control and Prevention District is created and authorized only if the district and sales tax are approved by a majority of the qualified voters, and it is considered a separate legal entity. The district is also governed by a board of 7 members, which is currently the voting members of the Coppell City Council. The board is required to propose a budget, hold a public hearing, and adopt the proposed budget that is then presented to the governing body, the Coppell City Council. CCPD is being accounted for as a special revenue fund in the financial records of the city. A special revenue fund is one that is used to account for and report the proceeds of a specific revenue source. The quarter-cent sales tax that is used for revenue in this fund is restricted or committed for expenditures for a specific purpose. Now let's dive into the history of CCPD. It was established by voter approval in November of 2007, with collections beginning in April of 2008, reauthorized in 2013 for 10 years, expiring in April of 2023. Most recently, voters authorized the district in November of 2022 for another 10-year term, extending it to April of 2033. The next reauthorization vote must happen on or before November of 2032. This concludes the brief review of the history of Coppell Crime Control and Prevention District.
Thank you, Ms. Almendares. The next item is item 5, review of the Crime Control and Prevention District budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Thank you. Before we begin reviewing the numbers, it is important to remember the purpose of the Crime Control and Prevention District beyond the legislative and procedural. Public safety is one of the community's highest priorities, but as the chief has shared, communities keep communities safe, and it is about more than police services alone. Safe communities are also supported by strong neighborhoods, quality parks, well-maintained streets, educational opportunities, arts and culture programs, and places that bring people together. The Crime Control and Prevention District plays a critical role in that effort by providing resources that help keep the community safe, prevent crime, and strengthen partnerships throughout Coppell. The proposed fiscal year 27 budget continues that mission by investing in the city's officers, maintaining critical public safety infrastructure, and ensuring full coverage by school resource officers on every campus for the first time. As we review the budget this evening, the focus remains the same, making the best use of available resources to provide effective public safety services while continuing to be a strong partner in the overall well-being of the community. Now let's dive into the revenues. The Crime Control and Prevention District's total revenues are projected to be approximately 5.2 million in fiscal year 27. The proposed budget assumes a 3% increase in sales tax revenue compared to fiscal year 26 adopted budget. Sales tax remains the fund's primary revenue source, generating an estimated 4.2 million, which represents approximately 81.9% of the total revenues. The remaining revenues derive from other sources, including a budgeted $794,550 in salary reimbursements from the Coppell ISD for school resource officers. This represents 15.3% of the total revenues. Lastly, revenues include a budgeted interest earnings of $150,000. This accounts for approximately 2.9% of total revenues. Interest revenue reflects anticipated market-based returns on invested fund balances. Now let's review expenditures. The total Crime Control and Prevention District expenditures are projected to be approximately 6.38 million in fiscal year 27. Salary and benefits total about 2.28 million. This represents 35.8% of the budget. This funds 15 positions, which include the school resource officers, and one sworn position, or non-sworn position, an administrative compliance officer. Supplies is budgeted at about 181,000, or 2.8% of total expenditures. Major costs include uniforms, the lease of a license plate recognition, LPR cameras, and upgrades to the automatic license plate reader, ALPR cameras and software. Services total approximately 2.5 million. This represents 38.6% of the budget and serving as the largest expenditure category. The largest component of services category is the payment to the North Texas Emergency Communication Center, NTEC, for dispatch services. Coppell's fiscal year 27 payment is approximately 1.61 million for operations, in addition to a first-time contribution of 685,147, representing the city's first-year share of a 6-year investment in the NTEC radio system replacement project. Of that amount, 385,147 will be budgeted in the CCPD budget, while 300,000 will be funded from the E911 fund. Also included in services is a continuing contract with the City of Grapevine for jail services. Services also include an administrative services reimbursement to the general fund based on the city's cost allocation study. This reimbursement recovers the cost of support services provided to the CCPD from the general fund. Capital expenditures total about 1.28 million for the one-time expense replacement of the portable mobile radio equipment, while transfers total 175,000 approximately, or 2.76% of the budget expenditures. This annual transfer is for the to the capital replacement fund, which sets aside future replacement of police vehicles. Okay. Next, we will cover the fund balance walk forward. The fund balance walk forward is presented beginning with fiscal year 25 actuals. This walk forward indicates that for fiscal year 27, the ending fund balance is projected to be 19.2 million. In summary, the proposed fiscal year 27 Crime Control and Prevention District budget includes 5.2 million in revenues and 6.38 million in expenditures, with a planned strategic use of fund balance totaling 1,177,480. This evening, we are seeking the board's direction on the proposed budget, specifically whether you would like to leave or exclude the Coppell ISD salary reimbursement of $794,550 from the proposed budget. And we are also seeking any priorities or initiatives you would like staff to consider for the fiscal year 27 budget. This is an opportunity to provide input and help shape the district's funding priorities for the coming year. In addition to, the CCPD Board has the opportunity to hold a public hearing and vote to adopt the fiscal year 27 proposed CCPD budget. This concludes the presentation of the proposed fiscal year 27 CCPD Prevention District's budget. At this time, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Question? Councilmember Neville?
Am I council member in this forum?
I don't know.
Member?
Board
Board
member.
member Neville.
Board member Neville.
Thank you very much for that, that walkthrough of the fund. I had a question about the proposed, excuse me, the proposed revenues on the sales tax. If you could remind us, I know that we are, we're not budgeting for, kind of like the 100% actuals of sales tax that we have received over the past. About what percentage is like if the rule were, like we're not in effect? Do you know about what the percentage is that this has been reduced?
The percentage is about 45%.
Okay.
So it's, we're in the excess of that would go into fund balance, but about the
Excellent.
percentage is about 45%.
So it's safe to say if we go through another year where there's no legislative action or lawsuit things, so we would see those sales tax revenues be higher. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just making sure that I fully understand the scope of what the revenues could be if things kind of keep going the way they're going and we don't have that effect on that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Board member Prem Kumar.
Thank you. I follow up on a question that Council Board Member Neville's asked. So I see for 24-25, the actual revenue is at 7,085,621. Is that the 45% number, or is that the full 100% number?
Let's see. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat your question?
The first column, actuals 2024 to 2025, that revenue number shows 7,085,621.
Correct.
Is that the full, I don't think it's the full sales tax revenue, right? So is that the 45%?
So that is going to be, so that actuals number will include a full sales tax. And that, so anytime we see the actuals column would be what we are actually receiving.
All right. So the reason we're showing 5,205,000 for 26-27 is because we are using a smaller portion of the actual.
No, that's, we are, let's see.
Jessica, why don't you go back to the revenue?
Okay.
Because the revenues will show in what makes up the 5%.
So we are showing here the revenue portion. And I'm sorry, sir, can you repeat your question one more time?
Let me think through and make sure my question is correct.
If you could clarify, that would be
So I'm
great.
following up on the point that Board Member Neville's made. For 24-25, you have the revenue number of 7 million and change. My question is that the 45% of the actual sales revenue, or is the total sales revenue?
If you want to.
Yeah, so the 7 million actual revenue is the full actual amount that we collected in sales tax.
Okay.
So because the rule wasn't in effect, we collected all of it rather than the reduced amount. If you go to the fund balance slide, so I think if you're trying to compare the 7 million to the 5.2, what is not in the, particularly the 4.2 for the fiscal year 26 is we did not budget to ask the school district to reimburse for the SRS. So that is really going to be what your difference is.
Okay.
Plus the increase in sales tax that we're expecting from just growth.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I got one.
Okay. Board member Carroll.
Thank you. Again, the $8 million that we are amending the budget to, the $8 million in additional expenses, again, what does that cover, and why did we not amend it? I mean, why did we not budget for it originally? I guess that's my other question. Does that make sense? And the $8 million, let me clarify where I got the $8 million. services is $1.5 million more than budgeted, and capital outlay is 6.5 more than.
Correct. So that 8 million is actually an encumbrance carry forward for expenses for the Justice Center and NTEC. So,
Okay.
and
So
that
they
is,
were budgeted the previous year?
they were items that were budgeted in prior years. If not, typically, the Justice Center, for example, is part of an assigned fund balance.
Okay.
So then we would amend the budget for that amount
Okay.
and do it in that format.
Okay, so the Justice Center hadn't been approved at the time that we did the budget, right?
And if Kim has
Well,
additional
what's
Is that
happened
clarify.
is that 8 million, you did approve it through, we brought
But we didn't
the Justice Center to council, you approved it. We amended the budget and created the PO. The reason you're seeing the 8 million increase between the 4 million budgeted and the amended at 12 million is because that project's not done, so the PO is still outstanding. So we have to bring the PO over and we bring the related budget over. That's the encumbrance carryover.
Okay.
That every first
Yeah.
amendment that we bring is related to that.
Well, let me back up one statement. When did we budget for the Justice Center?
So what we did is we put it in assigned fund balance because we weren't sure when the Justice Center, when that project was gonna take place.
Okay.
And then when we brought it forward, and we brought it forward last fiscal year, Chief? Is that we?
Last fiscal year?
We brought it forward, and part of that was, we're taking this from the fund balance of CCPD, and it will be included in a future budget amendment.
Okay.
And then we would have amended the budget in '25. And we'll amend it again for the encumbrance carryover.
So okay, so the 8 million is essentially the Justice, you said the
Correct.
Justice Center, and what was the other? Oh, in
And
tech.
tech,
Okay,
yes.
that's what the additional is. Okay. All right, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I had a question as well, or did anybody else have any questions? No? Just for clarification, because I don't have that in front of me, so thank you for putting that up. But, so can you tell me again what, the number is for the SROs?
Correct. So in total
Is that the
FTE
salary?
count?
That's the salary?
Salary amount?
Yeah.
The salary amount, it is,
I think that's a 7.
one second.
That's a
So
7.
total salary and benefits for fiscal year '27 would be 2.2889,
Okay.
about 2.289 million. And so that's for 15 FTE count.
Okay.
Yeah.
Board Member Nevels.
Thank you, Madam President. So I had a question for you. So I guess, average cost for one SRO at one of the campuses, do you have that number broken out individually? I understand that we have there's a couple of non-uniformed, there's a non-uniform FTE in there. Do you have that cost for one?
We do. So one for salary and benefits, it's about 125,000 for one
Okay.
SRO.
Perfect. And I appreciate that. I actually had a citizen ask about, what the cost was for an SRO at a campus. So I appreciate you providing that number. Thank
no
you very
problem.
much.
Sorry, what was that number again?
125,000
Okay.
is what was reported. And I know there was a question about if we wanted to remove the salary reimbursement from Coppell ISD on that. So would it be appropriate when we move to accept this document that we would accept the proposed document or the proposed budget minus the salary reimbursement from Coppell ISD? Would that be the best way to phrase that?
That's correct. You don't have to state it in the language if you would like to remove that amount from there.
Perfect. I just want to be very clear that if we do decide to move forward with that we understood the language we need to use. So thank you very much for that.
No problem.
Thank you for that clarification, because that was going to be my question. It sounded like we had an action item, and so I wanted to make sure that we addressed that. I did have one more question before, because I guess you'll need a motion, right?
That's
To
correct,
accept it.
yes.
Right item, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And-
Okay. But
and
then
it-
I guess here's my other question is, can you remind me also just the amount for the agreement that we have with Grapevine for the jail?
Yes, that is, one second, 123,000.
Okay. And that's annual?
That's correct.
Okay. Do we have what's our current agreement with them for how many years? Just curious.
I
Do you
don't
know?
have that specific data point with you, but I can definitely follow up with that information.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions on this particular item? No? Okay. And you don't need an action item on this one. We can open the public hearing on the next one.
Actually,
Or-
next, we will be covering, Ms. Tian will be covering the calendar, and then also she will, after that fact, she would provide that information for the next steps for the public hearing. So,
Thank you, Ms. Almendares.
yeah, no problem.
So I'll go to item 6 then. All right.
Perfect.
So item 6 is a public hearing on fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget for the Crime Control and Prevention District. Persons wishing to speak during the public hearing must sign the register and list their address. You'll be called to speak in the order you have registered. Public hearings are limited to 5 minutes per speaker. I will now open the public hearing for anyone that would like to speak. Do we have anyone listed? No, we do not. Thank you. Do we have, Ms. Tian, do you present anything on this item? No, okay. Then I will call for a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Okay, I have a motion from Board Member Nevels, and then I have a second from Board Member Prem Kumar. All in favor? This is to
Walker.
Close the public hearing.
close the public hearing.
Jeez.
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar, Hill, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Good job. Okay. Item 7, consider approval of a resolution approving the fiscal year 2026-2027 Crime Control and Prevention District budget, providing for administrative adjustments and providing for amendments and adoption by the Coppell City Council. Ms. Tian.
Thank you, Crime Control and Prevention District Board members. Ms. Almendares, our budget manager, presented the proposed fiscal year 26-27 Crime Control and Prevention District budget, and the board held the required public hearing. The action before you is approval of a resolution adopting the budget and submitting it to the City Council for consideration and adoption. This resolution also formalizes how the Crime Control and Prevention District budget may be managed after the City Council adoption. It allows the City Council or the City Manager or someone the City Manager assigns to move money between accounts within the approved Crime Control and Prevention District budget as long as the total budget does not increase. This only applies to the money that has not already been committed or spent through a purchase order. This is the same way the city normally manages its budget and is consistent with section 7.04 of the Coppell City Charter. The resolution does not change what the Crime Control and Prevention District funds are used for. If the district's budget needs to be changed after the adoption, for example, if the increase in the encumbrances that we talked about this evening, that carryover, that change needs to come to council for approval. And the city council, the members of the board are the same as the voting members of council. So this resolution also ratifies the fiscal year 25-26 actual expenditures as lawful expenditures and deems the budget amended. Then in July, your role as council, you will consider adopting an ordinance officially amending the various funds of the city, which the Crime Control and Prevention District is a fund. That amendment will increase the expenditures of this fund by the $8 million for the encumbrance carryover, and then about related to the Intech and the Justice Center, and then also another about $1,400 for some sales tax recovery. The city attorney is who has recommended this resolution and also prepared it. And staff recommends approval of the resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Tian. Do I have any questions from any board members? Board Member
you.
Carroll.
Thanks. So section 2, which is, so being able to move around between the different accounts and everything, is that different? Is that a different procedure than what we currently do for this budget?
No, it is what we do for this budget
is
and
what we do.
what we do for every fund of the city.
Okay.
It's what we've been practicing. This is just codifying what our practice is.
So we're not really changing practice. And
No.
then I'm not following section 4 is all actual expenses for 26 are hereby ratified, but we're only partway through the year, so how can we ratify all the actual expenses when we're not at the end of the fiscal year yet?
Right, so you're only going to ratify, you're ratifying the encumbrance carryover amount and then the 1,400 approximately for the sales tax recovery. You're doing that so that it can go to council, you as the council members, and then you will adopt an ordinance amending the budget officially. So you're just taking the action that you need to take as the board in order for council to actually amend the budget for this fund.
Okay, so when does that happen? After the end of the fiscal year?
No, it'll have, I'll bring it forth in July. We wanted to do this process with you first at the recommendation of the city attorney, and then I'll bring it forward officially with an ordinance that amends the budget like I typically do. This is just an extra step that the city attorney has recommended that we start doing.
And typically, we amend the budget even after the end of the fiscal year, don't we, to
We-
a final time?
Right, we do it twice. We do it once based
middle,
on the
yeah.
encumbrance carryovers and any action that council has taken up to that time. And then we do it at the end of the year with any action that council has taken for items that weren't included in the budget that we've used assigned fund balance for, decided to use fund balance for different things that have come up.
Okay, all right. I'm not as smart a lawyer as like Mr. Walker down there, so I'm really getting hung up on this whole ratifying actual, oh, yes, and you also. I didn't mean to offend you. Or Bob, Attorney Bob. I'm struggling with the actual expenses, ratifying them, I mean, so far.
It's a
When
custom.
they haven't happened yet.
I don't know how Mr. Walker feels about this, but it's a custom for municipal corporations and other corporations to ratify the actions of the previous year at the end of the year.
Okay.
And that way, if you find $1 here, $1 there that gets spent, so you're just ratifying. The budgets have always been here, since I've been here, always executed exactly as you may approve them and amend them from time to time. This is only an action to ratify what has been done in the moving of the money as if you adopted it that way, so that it reflects and makes audit easier, instead of having to go through and amend every section at the end of the year of money actual spent that has been moved in accordance with your charge to us when you approve the moving of the money within the budget. So it's just really a housekeeping measure. It's something that we have traditionally done through the council, but I thought it was important since my impending departure a year from now. I wanted this stuff codified so that there was continuity, and when Ms. Tian leaves, that those that succeed us would have a way to understand what we did and why we did it. So we're merely just codifying. When you adopt your budget for the city, there's a similar provision in the city's budget that says you ratify the previous expenditures. In case we've missed bringing you something, then it's been approved and we don't have an issue.
So do we ratify all these actual expenses again at the end of the year?
You'll do it through, because all this gets carried over into the city's budget in our town. So we take what we do, instead of having a separate budget, which some cities do, we roll this into the budget and then we ratify it again at the
Okay.
end of the year.
Well, I'm sure, I don't want to, I am bogging down the meeting, but I don't want to, I'm not, I'm sure I don't need to be concerned about it. I'm struggling with the actual expenses that haven't happened. We've only incurred about
Well,
6
you
months
can
worth of
only
expenses.
ratify what has occurred up to
And then we'll do it
tonight.
again later.
And you'll
Okay.
do it
I'm
again
sure
tonight.
That's what I'm getting hung up on. Okay. Okay, thanks.
We want you to be comfortable with that. Okay. Board Member Nevels.
Am I okay to make a motion? All right, excellent. All right, excellent. Madam President, I move to approve a resolution approving the FY 2026-2027 Crime Control and Prevention District budget with an amendment to remove $794,550 from the salary reimbursement, providing for administrative adjustments, and providing for amendments and adoption by the Coppell City Council.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Board Member Hill, all in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Neville, Prem Kumar, Hill, none opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8, we will review of the budget calendar of the Crime Control and Prevention District. Ms. Tian.
Thank you. I will walk you through the Crime Control and Prevention District fiscal year 27 budget calendar. On this slide, it shows you the various dates for the Crime Control and Prevention District. First, the board must hold a public hearing on the CCPD budget, and that public hearing was held this evening. Next, the board must adopt the budget before council can hold a public hearing and adopt the budget, and the board approved the fiscal year 27 budget as amended this evening. And so now the CCPD budget will go to the city council, and city council will review the budget at the strategic planning session on July 13th, where they will also hear all special revenue funds, of which the Crime Control Prevention District will also be discussed. Then on August 11th, the city council will hold the required public hearing and consider adoption of the Crime Control and Prevention District budget. And then finally, on September 8th, council will hear the public hearing and adoption related to the city's overall annual operating budget and tax rate, and that is required by Chapter 26 of the Tax Code and Chapter 102 of the Local Government Code. And I shared the September 8th date for your awareness and for the community's awareness. You'll notice that CCPD's budget is being adopted outside of the normal budget process, and that's required because we had to shift our date. It is required to be adopted 30 days before the beginning of the fiscal year, and if we wait till September 8th, we wouldn't meet that deadline. So that is why we're doing this in a different cycle than what you have historically seen. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the calendar.
Does anybody have any questions on the calendar as presented by Ms. Tian? Nope. No questions. Thank you, Ms. Tian. We will move on to item 9. Consider election of president and vice president. I will entertain any nominations for president and vice president. Board Member Neville.
Thank you, Madam President. I think it's only fair that that member Ramesh Prem Kumar take the reins of this illustrious board as its president for next year. I don't have any solid thoughts about vice president because I believe that everyone has served as president and vice president. Is that correct? At least once? Oh, I'm getting confirmation there from the end.
Yes, Member Neville, I believe the president does have information regarding the next up for the member who has
Ooh.
served furthest. Councilman.
So currently I have a nomination for Board Member Prem Kumar to be our next board president.
I didn't ask if you wanted
Do
it, though. I'm
you
just
accept that?
nominating
Do you accept that nomination?
I do, thank you.
Do I have any other nominations? Okay, let's do president and then we'll do vice president. So I will entertain a motion for, go ahead.
I move to elect member Ramesh Prem Kumar as president.
Do I have a
Board.
second? Board Member Hill, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Walker,
You're a member.
Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Neville, Prem Kumar, Hill, none opposed, motion carries.
Yay, we have a new president. Now I will entertain nominations for vice president.
Quick question. I believe you have the list of names of the board member that was farthest from the last serving. So can you please share the name?
I'm going to look at our city secretary for that.
Yes, the board member who served the furthest away in time in 2018, Board Member Hill, was our president.
I move to nominate board member Mark Hill as the vice president.
I have a motion for Vice President for Board Member Hill. Do I have any other nominations? Go with no on that, but thank you. I will entertain a motion to elect Board Member Hill. Do you accept that nomination?
I do accept.
Thank you. Yay, this is so awesome. Okay, I will entertain a motion to elect Board Member Hill as our next Vice President. Councilmember Fred McCarr.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Board Member Mark Hill as the Vice President for CCPD.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Board Member Nevels. All in favor?
Walker, Hinojosa Smith, Carroll, Nevels, Prem Kumar Hill, none opposed, motion carries.
You guys are so collaborative. Good job. There's no further business. Is there any further business? Oh, okay. There being no further business before the Crime Control and Prevention District, we are adjourned at 6:07.